In 1963, political theorist Hannah Arendt wrote a series of essays called Eichmann in Jerusalem, a report on the banality of evil, in which she reported on the trial against Eichmann for his involvement in the atrocities of the regime of the Third Reich. By no less than 6 psychiatrists, Eichmann was found to not be mentally ill, not be a natural-born monster. He was normal, and that was hard to reconcile with for the public. He was a normal family man, a normal neighbor, and he also did unspeakably cruel things to people.
According to Barlow, the nature of evil itself, argues Hannah Arendt, is thought-defying, because thought tries to reach some depth, to go to the roots, and the moment it concerns itself with evil, it is frustrated because there is nothing. That is its banality.
Well, anyway, let's talk about Hazbin Hotel. We meet Valentino in episode 2 of season 1. He's definitely not a good dude. He has serious temper issues and is overly possessive, but he's also kind of an idiot. Doesn't seem like someone you need to be afraid of. And then episode 4 happens. Oh shit. So that creates some sort of conundrum, right? Shouldn't there be only one portrayal of him? Either the stupid funny diva or the despicable monster? Shouldn't the show choose which it should be? The answer to that is obviously no. No, it shouldn't. There is an art to creating purposeful dissonance, to pair two opposing poles together to achieve a certain effect. It creates the feeling that something is wrong, a little off, and this clash of emotions can be used for both comedic and for dramatic purposes.
Don't all answer at once.
It can also at times make you, as the audience, feel deeply uncomfortable if there is no 100% clear direction on how you're supposed to feel in a given moment. Hazbin uses this quite a lot, and I guess this is why the critique of the supposed tone problem stems from, which I, to be honest, in general always struggle to comprehend, because this tone problem is actually my personal favorite tone in the media I consume. Both when it is used to create comedy, but maybe even more so when it is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. There is something I struggled to understand from day one when diving into the Hazbin internet discourse, and that is the controversy surrounding Angel Dust and the contents of episode 4. And what confuses me so much about this is not necessarily what is talked about, but that it is so heavily talked about at all, because just the content that is shown on screen is so tame compared to depictions in other adult media. In our media landscape, this kind of subject matter has been depicted much more harshly for over half a century now, after all, including in animation. Additionally, if you tuned into Game of Thrones, the most popular show of the last decade, chances are at about 90% that you would have been exposed to more violence, including the sexual kind, than even close to what Hazbin Hotel has ever shown you. So why this wasn't cancelled over and over again, while this broke the camel's back, I really couldn't wrap my head around. But now I have a suggestion why that might be, and it could have something to do with the fact that poison is the way it is. Poison is a high-energy bob that is sung and performed in a dance for you to the backdrop of Angel being brutalized in his quote-unquote job. And it's not even that those two opposing emotions take place parallel to each other, they are actively interwoven. Angel is yanked into a dude's groin to the song's beat. We see him scream in agony to the oaths of the chorus. This shouldn't go together, so it feels uncomfortable, not because of the imagery itself being graphic, but because of the sheer juxtaposition of this imagery to this song. Not that the song itself is exactly a happy song, musically it does reflect the drama of it all, but I will leave the discussion of the musical aspect of it to the main series. However, it certainly is not an emotional ballad, which is what you might expect to get with this situation. It's a dance number. And I have an inkling that this is where the accusations of glorifying abuse also stem from. Like, am I even supposed to vibe with this? To sing along when what is shown to me is essentially sex slavery? Obviously, all of this isn't accidental. This whole song is about oppositional feelings tugging at each other after all. So the dissonance here is deliberately baked into it. Angel is singing about the poison that's killing him, but that he can't stop to swallow. It's about the love-hate relationship he has with his abuser, represented in the diegesis of the show by a literal chain around his neck. Likewise, the music performed by Angel is a coat of color he paints over his suffering to make it all bearable. He throws a bunch of bright glitter over the pile of shit that is his life, because looking at it bare would be just too much to handle. To me, Poison is the best sequence in all of Hazbin, and just generally one of the most impressively directed music sequences I've seen to date. I'm a bit sad that this masterpiece was already in Season 1, because I don't think anything will be able to surpass it. And if something in future seasons somehow manages to do so, then my soul will leave my body. Now, let's talk about funny games for a bit. Funny Games is a movie released in 1997 about a family of 3 being held captive and subsequently killed in their vacation home by 2 young men. And it's pretty good. It gets the rare award of German movies that don't suck. I'm getting this recommendation out of the way because I am now going to spoil the best scene for you, which happens around the midpoint of the movie. So, here goes.
Der kann durchfahren nach Lage.
Beim Auszähler schießt man nicht den Ausgezählten, sondern den, der beim Auszählen übrig bleibt.
Hat jetzt ein Schild
Was ist denn los mit dem? Wollt ihr davonrennen? Na und?
Steht an.
Deswegen musst du doch nicht gleich losballern.
Mercedes.
Hast du kein Gefühl für Timing?
Startnummer.
This blood you see, that's from the child. They joke about the murder of a child that just took place. You don't see it happen, you just hear the noises of it happening coming from the living room, while what you are watching is this. Funny Games shares a commonality with Poison in that the movie drew huge criticism for its content, even being described as torture porn, when in reality there is next to no gore, next to no on-screen death or violence. What's left is simply the utter detachment with which those 2 men inflict pain on their victims, and the discomfort this dissonance brings with it. The humor in this sequence helps to elevate the horror it's interwoven with. It adds another layer of bleakness, the fact that the perpetrators of atrocities aren't even granting their victims the dignity of taking the violence they're inflicting seriously. This, of course, reminds me of Hazbin Hotel again, particularly this scene.
You're obsessed with me.
It's aiming for the same effect that funny games did, because this is a tone that clashes intensely with the horror we know it really is, because we have already seen the abuse from Angel's perspective. We have witnessed how his relationship with Val is all-encompassing and eroding him. And yet, seeing it through the lens of the V's, it's a joke, because they are not granting Angel or anyone else they see as beneath them even the dignity of taking the pain they're inflicting seriously. There is no deeper meaning, no purpose to the suffering, it's just another thing they do. Evil has become banal to them. The evil Valentino inflicts on Angel has become banal to him. Val can be an idiot, he can be sad about relationship problems with his boyfriend, he can have a genuine friendship with Velvet, he can even do the right things at times, and he can utterly destroy someone to the point that their sense of self-worth is entirely gone. In other words, he's a normal-ass person. This all shouldn't go together, but it does. Because the truth is that being human means to be able to be a monster, and that realization comes with uncertainty towards both yourself and every person you meet in your life. And this uncertainty, well, that's uncomfortable. The word catharsis comes from a concept in Greek theater called katharsis, which translates to cleansing. The idea is that you, as the audience, feel the same negative emotion that the characters you witness on stage feel, just not as destructive for you because you can eventually leave them behind in the theater. Instead, you should feel cleansed. And you're prepared to handle real negative emotions when bad things do eventually happen in your life. Well, that's the theory anyway. I don't exactly know how much truth that holds, but I do know that I love it when a piece of media can trigger intended negative emotions in me. It's comparable to doing fitness or house chores. It might not be exactly pleasant in the moment, but you're happy afterwards. And you can do it again knowing that you already survived it fine. And I think we should normalize feeling uncomfortable when watching media again. Because sometimes it's a good thing, actually.
Aber die Fiktion ist doch wirklich.
Wieso?
Na, du siehst sie doch in dem Film, oder?
Na klar.
Dann ist sie genauso wirklich wie die Wirklichkeit, die du genauso siehst, oder?
Blödsinn.